3 Milli Pod fam, what's up, what's good? Before we get started in today's show, it's only right that I let you guys know that we have a very big announcement. My first ebook, Unleash Your Creative Genius, is out now. I break down how to grow, how to launch, and monetize your podcast, and so much more. Right now, everybody's getting into content, but you gotta have a game plan before you even start posting. I break down everything when it comes to having a content strategy, your aesthetic, how to build that tribe and build that trust between yourself and your community, which leads to the path of monetization. And so much more, so much more. I'm so excited about this ebook. I gave it my all. I share all my knowledge, all access. And if that wasn't enough information for you after you get done reading that, I have consultation services available for you all as well. 30-minute up to an hour, 3-month plan, 6-month plan. Check that out because everybody needs a plan when it comes to content. Even if you don't have a podcast, you need a strategy. Let me be the content strategist for you. And on top of all that good stuff, if you need a dope editor, my girlfriend Sid, who is amazing creative director of 3 Milli Productions, right now she is providing editing services. She has a lot of clients, so make sure that you hit her up. She will take care of you, and you can check her out as well, 3milliproductions.com. It's only right. We are here to help you, and we are here to help your content bring your vision to life. And we are the people that help make that happen for you. So tap in, tap in. We have a link to the website in the description box right down there below. So check us out, 3milliproductions.com. Now let's get right back to the episode. Let's get it. Good people, what's up, what's good, man? We are back for another edition of the 3 Milli Podcast. I cannot thank y'all enough for all the love and support. Today, man, this is about to be one of my very favorite episodes featuring my guy, my dude, Justin Douglas. Today, we'll be talking about discipline, mindset, self-development, strength, everything that you can possibly think of about becoming the best version of yourself. So let's get it.
Thank you, Caleb, for having me on. I truly appreciate it. And I really, truly value the message that you put out there and just everything that you're doing. You can really tell that you're really investing in yourself.
Oh my God.
You have an amazing podcast and you have an amazing team. And I truly appreciate you guys bringing me on today.
Man, Justin, like what I told you, bro, like when I first saw you outside, everything that you're doing is needed. Everything that you're doing with content, the value that you bring us on a daily basis, man, is crazy, high quality content. So Justin, man, before we even get into everything starting off, what inspired you to start opening up about who you are, providing us with value, which is needed every day? What inspired that?
That's a great question,
Thank
man.
you.
It really starts from, I would say, college, of just being that kid that, 95 to 98% of kids are in college, lost, you know what I mean? You go from a structured high school, you go from a structured household in high school, then you go to college, and you have all this freedom, all this time, and then you go into debt, and you just got so much free time, so it's just so easy to pick up bad habits and be around negative influences and just really trying to fit in with society and fit in with everybody else. So in college, I have, lost myself as most people probably do, as far as picking up bad habits around the wrong people, wrong situations, and just like not really looking into the future, being so caught up in the present, so caught up in the past, and really just not investing in myself, not investing into my health, my nutrition, my mindset, just my whole structure of life wasn't there. So once I switched up my environment and, I quit my job, I went to start working for my dad doing landscaping. I started listening to motivation. I started working out, started changing my diet. And I think I had found the key. I found the missing ingredient that there's a lot of successful people out here, they're all around, you know what I mean? But I feel like there was something missing that, you see them when they make it, like, for example, and I love these people, Gary Vee, Jeremiah Lett, Peter, Steve Harvey, Kevin Hart, The Rock. You see them where they are now, but you didn't see them at year 1. You didn't see them at year 2, year 3.
Right.
You see them at year 10, 15, 20. So what I wanted to do was start my journey from year 1, year 2, year 3, and just see where it goes and where it can take. And I just really wanted to provide people with as much value as I can and just become a person of value.
A person of value. I love that. And you said something that was very important too about changing the environment. Yeah. For so many people, I know it's a new year, 2021. Everybody's always saying it's a new year, new me. But environment, that's so important, man. For people who are afraid to change that friend group or uncomfortable with being uncomfortable in new situations, how do you embrace different environments? Like, how do you embrace stepping into something that you are not familiar with?
I think the best way to step into something that you're not familiar with is to realize that, the past is the past.
Yeah.
If you think on the past and you just dwell all your thoughts on the past, you're basically living in the past.
Yeah.
So the best way to live in the future and to manifest the future is to think in the future. And your current daily habits build your future. So the best way for you to create your future is to recreate yourself. And the best way for you to recreate yourself is to have habits that are constructive, not destructive. So if you on a daily basis, if you're performing habits that aren't constructive, that aren't building you towards your future, then you're basically living in the present and you're attracting the past. So you're never manifesting. So if you never change your circle, you never change your environment, 5 years from now will be the same way your past 5 years was. So I've just been constantly changing my environment, constantly elevating myself. And what I also realized is that just not from the social media standpoint, we're going to get into that. But I think it's just very important to go after your dreams, go after your goals, because I feel like that's how you can, that's also a different way for you to change your environment is to go after your dreams and goals, because you could be hanging around the same people, same places, same environment, and same things, and you're doing the same thing. But once you start actually going after what you want, you can decipher of who's really with you and who's really not with you, who's believing in you, who's not with you, who's actually hating on you, who's actually holding you back from growth. I was listening to a podcast the other day actually, and it said like if you ever seen crabs in a crab bucket, once one crab start climbing out the bucket, they're gonna reach for them.
That's right.
So that's what happens when you start going after your dreams and goals. You're gonna see who's holding you back from you getting outside of the bucket. So I think that's the best way for you to change your environment is for you to go after what you were born to go after.
That's beautiful, man. That's beautiful. And when you start, going through that process, right, of having those friends that's trying to reach and bring you down, snatch you down, right? What advice do you have for people right now who's trying to level up, but you got that best friend or that friend group that's saying, man, you ain't going to do that or you can't pull that off? How do you stay motivated?
I think the best way for you to stay motivated too, it has to be internal, because your internal world really controls your external world. Like you can have goals and you can have, a vision, or I want this, I want that. But if you don't subconsciously believe it or internally believe it, then it'll show through your external world. So lately, I've been working more on controlling my inner thoughts, controlling more of my subconscious mind. So I've been listening to a lot of like focus music, a lot of meditation music, just to control the inside of my brain more, because I can speak and I can say these things though, but my brain is wondering or thinking about the past. I'm actually attracting the past and not attracting the future. So I've done different things to kind of change that. I've also turned all my notifications on my phone off.
Smart.
And like that. It was kind of difficult at first. I'm like, oh man, I'm missing out on something. But then I realized that, a lot of people really want your attention and really want to talk to you, but they're not bringing you business opportunities. And if it's urgent, they'll call you. If it's urgent, they'll call you. If not, they just want to, like the crab bucket, they just want to keep pulling you down.
Trying to text you.
Hey,
right.
And I'm a very understanding person, and I'm a very giving person. Anytime anybody hits me up, I'm very thorough with my message of reaching out to people, giving them the best advice. But then when I'm reaching back out to them and giving them the best advice, then it's the message is not received the same way that I'm giving it out. So I've turned off all the notifications on my phone so I can stay more focused, stay more disciplined. I downloaded Chess, downloaded Scramble, like Connect 4, different things to help me think ahead.
So try that. Yeah, man, I love that, Justin. And bro, from having you on our Millennial Masterclass series, that was so dope being able to chop it up with you. So now being in person, being around you again, man, it's just dope seeing who you are as a young man, which is crazy. Way ahead of your time, ahead of your years. On your Instagram page, something that I saw that was super dope. You gave your sister Jada, shout out to Jada as well, about her inspiring you, man, to start on this self-development journey. What was that like, man, when she probably pulled you to the side, talked to you? How'd that start?
Man, Jada, man, shout out to my sister Jada. Yeah. But she definitely saved me a lot of time, man. She definitely expedited the years for me, because I have a couple college degrees or whatnot, and I really wanted to go after that. But she said, Justin, if you just focus on what you want and, read the books and just do what you do, you can attract the life that you want. Instead of going to go work for somebody else and you building their company, you can start your own company from the ground. So she definitely pulled me to the side. She had me start listening to motivational videos.
Yeah.
She had me start listening to meditate. She said had me start meditating, and she also gave me a lot of books to read. And she also got me started on my YouTube channel. And she actually started me with my Instagram too. So she gave me my foundation to get started. So once I got my foundation from her, then I started learning from other people and other methods. But Jada definitely got me started. And she's still like, she's basically like almost like my manager, almost my consultant.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I call her about like, hey, Jada, you know, I have ideas. I have these plans. This person say this person say that. And she's very strict and routine. And she really helps me a lot. So she's really almost like my manager, I would say. So
good stuff. I love this conversation already, Justin. So Jada, getting you right, listening to that. Something else as well, man. I love how you post about books that you're reading, because I feel like millennials, man, we get such a bad rap about not reading, and you read avidly, man. What has been the best experience from reading and consuming new information sometimes?
Well, I learned from Dr. Joe Dispenza that anytime you learn something new, you're creating a new connection with the brain. So the reason why I love to read, and, you know, I've been slacking. I actually went back through my book highlights, and I noticed how, like, you know, I'll finish a book in a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, then I'll go like 8 weeks without reading a book,
Jeez.
10 weeks, 15 weeks. So like, I'm also a student of like learning myself more and like really just understanding myself more to say, okay, I need to be more consistent with that area. So the real reason why I love reading books is because I'm learning new words, new information. And it's really, if you really think about it, it's, what's the way I can say it? It's basically an influencer or somebody who we look up to. That's 10 years of information composed into 150 pages.
Wow.
So if you could take a decade of information and put it in 150 pages, imagine how much information that you're learning at one time.
Jeez.
So instead of you going through all those years, those trials and errors, you can take 1 week, 2 weeks and learn that information. You can pick up another book and learn that information again. And there's no limit on how much information you can learn, how many books you can do. But then once I've also learned that once you consume the information, it's time to take action.
That's right.
Because you can meditate all day, you can read books all day, you can do these things all day, but if you never take action, then you'll still be in the same spot. You know, you still progress, but it may be 20, 30 years compared to 5 or 10 years. And it's not that we're in a rush, but it's about taking massive action. And that's one thing that I'm focusing more as far as this 2021 is that I learned that massive action is also massive discipline. And with massive discipline, it's also massive consistency. So where you... And I realized that, you know, in different areas I've grown, but I've also realized in the areas that I didn't grow, I took some action, which meant I got some results. But the areas that I took massive action is the areas that I got massive results. So this year I'm focusing more on taking massive action, being more massive discipline, and being more massively consistent. So.
Massive action. And it's crazy that you say that, man, because me and Sid this morning, we were talking about executing, right? For a lot of people, I think with social media, with consuming things constantly, we aren't producing things because we're always just taking things in. So with all that being said, for people who are struggling to execute, what are some strategies that we can like execute effectively?
The best way that I can say the best way for you to execute is really, I try to run out into information overload. If it's not like bringing me any value, or if it's not something that can really benefit me in the future, then I try my best to stay away from it and keep it at a distance. And I try my best to consume information that I can take action on or that's relevant to what I'm trying to do. One of the biggest things that I've taken away from so far this year is sports. And I love sports. You know, I love LeBron, KD, I love Kawhi, I love sports. But I realized that with me watching sports for 2-3 hours, that's a lot of information that I'm consuming that's not really helping me. So what I've done is like, instead of during that time, like I'll be reading or I'll be just resting my brain actually. And I'll watch sports highlights that may be 10 minutes instead of something that's 3 hours. So just trying to work more faster and more efficient and, taking in the information, take action or get off. You know what I mean? And just, that's the best way I can say.
Bro, you preach it, man. And discipline, like everything that you're talking about with turning on or turning off notifications, with not watching full sports games, like that takes a lot of discipline. And how do you stay strong? Because I know that we have so many distractions and two of people who want to go out with you. And I remember June, she was talking about that. Shout out to June, amazing camera woman, about being on your grind, right? Sometimes like you will have to sacrifice, right? Of having to film that content or having to read that book instead of going out, because in the long call, that will be more effective for you. So how do you stay focused and how do you keep your discipline at a high level? Because I mean, man, that takes a lot. In 2021, bro, we got phones, new shows, Netflix, all this stuff. So How do you do it?
I feel like you have to have an emotional reason behind your goal, because you can have a goal, and most people do have goals, but if you don't have an emotional reason behind you doing that goal, more than likely you may do it or you may not do it. So I try to attach a reason behind everything. Like, shout out to my mom. My mom, she's in perfect health shape. I tell my mom, I tell myself though, like, the harder I work, retire my mom, retire my mom, retire my mom. You know what I mean?
That's right.
And if I do something else, I'm like, okay, like, if I don't invest in myself right now, I could possibly be hurting someone in the future who may be needing the information. Yeah. And that's also not to change the subject though, but that's also goes into, like, while I started back posting more on social media, is because I realized that the reason why I had stopped for a minute, because I was doing probably like once a week, and now I'm back at about 4, maybe 5 times a week. Yeah. But I stopped because I was like, dang, like, I know people may be, hating or jealous, or I may get unfollowed for people seeing that I'm posting my content consistently. Like, oh, dang, he's doing this, he's doing good, he's doing this and all that. Like, actually, I live the same life that everybody else lived. I just think differently and I take different actions. And me not posting my content in a sense could be hurting me, because somebody could be needing that information. That could be saving somebody's life, or that could be reaching out to somebody who may need the information. So just facing my fears more and more and taking more action towards living the life that I was born to live and helping people and reaching that mass.
That's right. And Justin, we need that content. So keep posting that, bro, for real, man. Keep posting it. Keep posting that. And again, for people who could hate on you, or people who are worried about what you're doing, Justin, man, for yourself, like, what drives you to fight those fears? Because I know, like, right now, it's a lot of creatives out there. I know, and I love seeing people with podcasts. I love seeing people what you're doing as well, YouTube channel, Instagram, just posting quality content. But I feel like we are afraid sometimes, because it's like, people receive this well? Are people going to be fearful, or are people going to follow me? So how do we break out of those fears? Because that content, like what you said, that could change somebody's life. So how do we break out of that?
That's a great question. That's a great question. I feel like if you're not facing your fears, then you're not growing. If you know that you're doing it for the right reason and the right purpose, and that you're delivering the message the best way that you can, you just have to live with the results. I try not to post. I mean, because some things you do have to be controversial about sometimes. Everybody is not going to agree with everything. That's just the way society is. That's the way social media is. And that's the way about, perspective. It's like, you're going to have some Democrats, you're going to have some Republicans. You're going to have some people that believe in motivation, some people that don't believe in it. You have some people that don't like podcasts who don't like podcasts. You got some people who don't like fitness who do like fitness. So everything is controversial. But if you know that you're doing it for the right reason and the right purpose, then I feel like you should just go after it and just face your fears, because that's where growth lies, within facing your fears.
Yeah, I love that, man, facing your fears. And Justin, man, before the show started, you were dropping some gems, man, probably unknowingly too, man, of you just expressing yourself. And what you said was really dope about you going to the gym one day. If you can, man, share us that story about the mindset that's needed, right? Because you were talking about the truck breaking down. Sid jokingly, and me too, about, man, if the whip, man, if it broke down and I was trying to go to the gym, God, I take it as a sign, like, I'm out of here, bro. But you were wired differently. Instead, you viewed that as an opportunity to work on yourself. And you executed on an opportunity that most people would have viewed as a curse. And you went to the gym. And not only did you go to the gym, man, you filmed the content. So I feel like that's a double layered lesson of, and if you can, speak on it, about optimizing time to film your content, 1, and then 2, about doing things that the average person wouldn't do. How do you do it?
Man, I love that. That's a great question. And I love the way that you broke that down.
Thank you, bro.
I really just take every opportunity as a blessing. Like, I look at everything, every day, every chance as an opportunity.
That's right.
I feel like the time that we're living in right now, even from your position or my position, there have been a lot of people who got started on both of our journeys, but they got comfortable and they stopped. You know what I mean? Facts. And, oh man, I can do a little bit of this and I get a little bit of that. And I think some people are not to say that we're just striving to be extremely successful, but we're striving to live a life full of abundance.
That's facts.
So I feel like in every opportunity, there's some type of way that you can get better. And I saw an opportunity with my truck breaking down that, most people will go lay down. They can't do anything, like, hey, this happened for a reason. This must be meant for me to do this or that. I looked at it as an opportunity. This is a chance for me to get better. because I'm breaking away from the old me and recreating the new me by every new habit, every new thought, every new discipline. So I thought, why not go get some new content? You know what I mean? Why not go to the gym and outwork every single person in the gym? Like, as soon as I step 2 feet in front of the gym, I put in my headphones, man. I look around at everybody, man. I drink my water, man, and I lock in. And because the way that I think about the gym is that this is where the hardest working people come to work. So when you go to the gym, what you go to the gym? You go to the gym to fail. You go to the gym to progress. You go to the gym to get better. But I think of it like this. If I outwork every single person in here in the hardest working place on earth, hardest working place, I'm going to be built different. Yeah. So I know that if my body at set 10, if my body's giving out and I go to 15, I know the person right next to me stopped at 8. They didn't even make it to 10. So now I'm going to 15. I know if I was on the treadmill right before I got here because I believe that, honestly, that we have a governor on our brain. We have a governor on our body. I learned this from David Goggins that, for example, say like the speed limit is 40 miles per hour. We think that, okay, we can't go past 40 or we're going to get a ticket. Realistically, the car can go past 40. That's true. And it's the same thing with our brain. You know what I mean? As far as I was on the treadmill, I had a weighted vest on. I had it on incline 15, speed 3. And the first 15 minutes was harder than the second 15 minutes. Meaning that if I would have gave up before it got easier, then I wouldn't have grown. So if I would have gave up the first 15 minutes, when I got to the second 15 minutes, I wouldn't have grown. So I realized, second win. The second win. Yeah. So I pushed myself through my governor, through my brain, through my body giving out, my groin giving out, my calves giving out, my ankles everything giving out on me. But I consistently just kept going. So I think that's the thing that, when you're writing down your dreams, you're writing down your goals, your hands start hurting, keep writing. Take a break, but get back writing. Yeah. You know what I mean? If you're thinking or if you're reading, and you get tired and you want to take a break, but get back to it and just push past your limits. And I feel like that's when you grow, and that's how them habits compound after a while. Just keep pushing past the limits that you think that you stop at.
Preach it, Justin. I love this, man. I love this because speaking on that same point, right, about being in the gym, and I didn't even think about that whole perspective about you're in the hardest working place in the world. And if you're the hardest worker in the hardest working place in the world, that speaks volumes. And seeing you on Instagram, killing it. And I respect how before you came here, I was like, all right, bet. He's already in the gym. Like, I love that, man. I love that. Justin, again, like staying on that point, right, about getting started. Being on the treadmill. And one thing that I used to love about going to the gym, that's how you knew who was real and who wasn't. The people who would be on the treadmill on the phone are the ones who was actually getting it, right?
That's true.
The ones who just sprint for a few minutes or the ones who's actually running for a while like you. That speaks a lot about mindset, endurance.
Yeah.
But the hardest thing is, especially if you know, like, yo, I'm about to get it on this treadmill, it's starting at 0. How do you go in with a mindset of, I'm going to kill this before you even press start? Because I feel like that's the hardest part. I feel like it gets easier, once you start getting that second win because, all right, the hard part was getting started. But how do you stay strong and positive before you even press start?
Wow. It really just depends. I would say it depends on the workout. It depends on the day. But I say it really starts with the thought that you just want to get better. Like, my goal is I'm coming in here to get better. And I think is that the thing that really separates the people who are walking on a treadmill and talking on the phone compared to the people who's actually in there working is that they're actually working towards a goal that has an emotional reason. Like, I'm working towards a specific weight number. I'm working towards a specific amount of body fat. I'm working towards a specific goal, and I'm just not in here just saying that I just want to work out. But I feel like it really starts with, like we spoke earlier about those habits that really compound. They really compound after a while. I'm able to do the things that I'm able to do now in the gym, but I wasn't able to do that a year ago. And I for sure wasn't able to do that 6 months prior to that. It's just, it just takes the repetition of just getting started. If you start at 0, just start walking at 1, you know what I mean? And then just go do some jumping jacks and then come back, walk again at speed 1. Then you come back next week. Now you're speed 1.5. So it just takes time. And I think that's a lot of the reason that, especially with social media is pretty much a highlight reel. You know what I mean? Like, the workouts that I'm able to do now is because of the work that I've done in the dark when the lights wasn't shining. So now I'm able to shine when the lights are shining. And it's just really like pushing your body past failure. Like, every single time I go in there, I'm pushing my muscles. I'm pushing every nerve I got in my body past failure because I know that's when I'm growing. Though, if I'm going there and I'm get stuck to the same routine and the same things, then that means that I'm not growing. So I push my body to the hardest that I can, because I know that's where I'm growing at. So I feel like that's how you get started at 0 is by just starting at 1. Start at 1, go to 2, go to 3, go to 4, go to 5. make it a little challenging, and just grow from there. But it's just really about getting started and going, like, because if I never got started on my journey 2.5 years ago and face my fears of, anytime, like what I used to do when I first got started is that I used to turn my notifications off on Instagram anytime I posted, because I was nervous to see who would like it, who wouldn't like it, who would comment, who wouldn't comment. But I just kept facing my fears, and I ain't gonna lie, the reason why I really, not to change the subject, but the reason why I worked out before I came is because, I was very anxious or very nervous. And what I did was I challenged myself by doing one of the hardest workouts possible to work that out of me. So then when I get on camera with you, I'm a lot calmer, I'm a lot smoother, and I'm good to go. So I worked that anxiousness out of me. So I think the workouts really helped me mentally. It's really where I'm at mentally in my life. So that's why I like to work out before I do any IG live, before any podcast. It's really challenge myself. So when I am facing my fears like I am doing right now, I'm a lot more calmer and I'm a lot more, more resilient.
So, I love that. And Justin, man, let me tell you this right now, bro. You were killing this. I'm enjoying this conversation. Like, man, this is dope. And facing the fears and being in uncomfortable situations, the gym, fitness, right? I remember, from playing sports, you play sports as well. I would always hear, people say, lose yourself in the grind. And I really didn't understand it until I got older from going to the gym. And it's like, all right, it sucks right now, but I'm not focused on that, right? So how do you, in those moments of being uncomfortable and the body's aching or the mind is just lethargic right now, how do you embrace that and say, I like this right now?
I like that. That's a great question. Thank you. I basically believe that when you are in those moments, you have to know that, somebody who's doing this right now is stopping. Somebody's stopping right now. Like you said, the mind is lethargic. The body is lethargic. Everything under the sun is telling you to quit right now. But if you push through that, like, you're tapping into unknown areas of potential. And I think that's where your growth lies, is into those unknown areas. Like, if your dreams aren't crazy, if you aren't going after it, then your dreams aren't big enough. And I feel like your dreams, your body, your goals, everything, if you don't have something that's of outreach or something that's requires unlimited potential, then you're not going after your true dreams and goals. So I feel like that's the same thing as far as in the gym, as far as with anything, that when it starts hurting, starts breaking down, that's when you're really learning. That's when you're really growing. Because if I stop right here, then I'm gonna come in here every single time and do 1 or 2 sets, walk out, and then I'm just like everybody else. But if I do the things that people aren't doing, then I'm gonna get the results that people aren't getting. So
that's right, man. And Justin, bro, I've seen you hit up the gym at 6 a.m., 5 a.m., and that's not an easy task. I know it's not, man. What drives Justin in the morning when that alarm, when it goes off? And, hey, you might be sleepy, might be a little tired, might not even feel like going because you're human. Everybody has those days. But what makes you say, yo, I got to pop up? How do you do it?
I love it. I'm working on actually being more consistent with that, because with my work schedule, it just depends. If I know I have a long day ahead or whatnot, sometimes I go in the morning, sometimes I go at night, but I do love the morning sessions. So what I typically do is I set my phone across the room when I go to sleep, because it's so easy that if you lay right next to your phone in the bed, you hit the snooze button so many times. But when I set my phone across the room, I have to physically get out of bed to turn my alarm off, and I go immediately to the restroom, wash my hands, put some water on my face. I'm wide awake now. So then I start my morning routine. Once I start my morning routine, I go to the gym, because I'm like, a lot of people are asleep right now. You know what I mean? I'm putting in the hours that they're not putting in right now. You know what I mean? So while they go to the gym during the day or they go through their daily routine, I'm working on something else. So now I'm putting in more hours, and I'm outworking everybody. Like, that's what it comes down to. You have to outwork everybody. And it's not that I'm in competition with anybody. I'm in competition with myself. So if I did ABC, today, tomorrow I need to be doing DEF. You know what I mean? And keep going, keep progressing. And every single day I try to outdo myself. And that's where it really grows. So I look to a lot of people for inspiration. A lot of people that say, wow, that's very inspiring. But I also compete against myself every single day. So today, my goal is to be better today than I was yesterday. So as soon as we finish up, I'm going to get right back to it. You know what I mean? So,
please do.
You know what I mean? So I just think about it's that friendly competition with yourself to get better, better, and better. And once you build those habits, you become unstoppable. You know what I mean? And people look at The Rock as untouchable. They look at Kevin Hart as untouchable. I look at my mentor, people look at him as untouchable. And what they really did was just consistently build those habits and stick to their dreams, stick to their goals, and stay focused, stay on track, and they just made a couple of different sacrifices that people weren't willing to make, and now they're living an abundant life. And not to say that everybody else is supposed to live that life, because different people have different dreams and goals.
Yeah.
But if you're not sacrificing and you're not focused, you're not locked in, you can't expect to get that life that you really want.
That's good stuff. Justin, you actually alluded to something that I was just about to ask you next. You versus you. And I think that, athletes like Kobe, talk about that, LeBron, Tom Brady. And I think that that's what makes people who are elite at what they do elite, because they aren't going against their opponent. It's like I'm going against myself. Michael Jordan, like when he wasn't going to the finals when he first started, he started breaking down his own game. Like, what am I weak at? Okay, so I'm fighting against myself. What type of process, or how fun is it rather, to know that I'm going against myself every day?
Wow. It's like when you really going against yourself, like you're really creating who you're born to be, and you're really recreating yourself. Like when you start critiquing yourself and you start like focusing more on your strengths, and you even clean up some of your weakness areas, you really start recreating who you're supposed to be. And I really do look up to like LeBron, Michael Jordan, Tom Brady. Yes. And what I like to look up to them about is their consistency. Like every single year, it seems like LeBron is getting better and better. And he's in year 18
since 2003.
That's a long time. And look at Tom Brady to be in his 40s and in another Super Bowl. So I just look at these times and the consistency of those athletes, saying that they're building consistent habits. I need to be consistent too. You know what I mean? And I just think of it like, as far as not to change the subject with fitness or anything like that, but the consistency, like if you really look at it at a longevity standpoint, what's the point of not falling off, but getting to like rock bottom and then rebuilding? You know what I mean? So if you just not get ahead of the curve now, but if you just take action with everything that you truly want right now, imagine where you can be at in 20, 30 years. You know what I mean? Like, you're not waiting to, there's no against, so some people didn't find their dreams till they're 50, 60. You didn't wait until at that age to start your podcast. You started your podcast right now. So imagine where your podcast can be at 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now. And then you just, not to change the subject off me, but then you also spoke on like, you going after your dreams and you're facing your fears, and you investing more and more into the podcast and going into a full time. And like, it's really growing, it's really shining. And that's just how we just talked about everything as far as being consistent, going after your dreams, facing your fears, and everything underneath the sun.
Yes, I love that, man. And Justin, man, you're somebody who's very intentional, like about putting the phone in the corner. That's intentional. Turning off IG notifications, that's intentional. Not watching sporting games for a long period of time, that's intentional. What is the importance of young people right now, if you're trying to chase something, to know that you got to be intentional about everything that you do, even when it comes down to how you wake up, how you work out, how you eat, how you sleep, how you read, everything?
Wow, that's deep. What I realized from just studying, man, and just researching that, humans, we are used to being comfortable. And not only are we used to being comfortable, we're used to doing the same thing at the same time, doing the same routine. Like our brains are pretty much like it's an artifact. It's a memory bank. So it's accustomed to waking up, going to the bathroom, doing everything in the same way. So what I'm trying to do and what I try to focus on my best is that if I do the same things that I did this year, I'm going to get the same results that I got last year.
That's right.
So in every single area of life, I try to clean up my habits. I'm doing a self cleanup. You know what I mean? I'm not depending on somebody else to tell me that I need to be doing something. I'm holding myself more and more accountable. So I do different habits, different techniques to try to like just create a new connection with my brain, create a new habit, and just create myself. Because if I'm not doing that, then that means that I'm not growing. And my past 5 years is going to be the same way as my next 5 years if I don't create those new habits. So I just think that right now, it's a pandemic, of course, but you can still use opportunities like this to honestly grow. And I feel like right now we're living in a time where this is the best opportunity to be successful.
Yes, sir.
But it's also is the hardest opportunity to be successful because of the amount of distractions. You know what I mean? You have the politics distracting. You have sports. You have social media. If you're not using it to build a business, it can be distracting.
Yes, sir.
So it's so many things to distract you. So if you hone in on yourself, your dreams, your goals, your habits, your discipline, and use social media as an advantage, not a disadvantage, and produce content, consume the content, but then produce it in your own manner.
That's right.
If you do those things, man, you're reaching new limits, and you're doing that yourself.
Thank you,
and I do my best to do that myself, though. But you have to be conscious of your unconscious decisions, of your unconscious thoughts. So if you're in a routine, a habit of doing something, change it. You know, I sit down on the couch. I know my remote's right here. I'm going to hit the TV. I know I'm going to eat the chips. I know I'm going to do this. I know I'm going to do that. So why don't you change up your environment? You know what I mean? If I know I'm going to watch TV, why don't I get on YouTube and watch a visualization? Why don't I get on and watch 4K of a city that I would like to travel to? You know what I mean? Why don't I get on my phone and like read up on a new business, read up on a new opportunity? Just, you know, and it's not, I don't want you to think that it's just grind 24/7 though, but you know, it is grind for about 90% of the time. And then, you know, sometimes, you know, you take your time to, you know, relax, chill and things like that. But you definitely do have to put in that work into them thoughts and those actions and becoming more conscious of your unconscious decisions. So
that's good. That's good, man. Sorry to interrupt the episode, but I got to help you guys out. If you're looking to grow, monetize, and launch your podcast, or just create content for your brand for that clothing line, for whatever type of business that you have, it's only right that you tap in and buy my very first ebook, Unleash Your Creative Genius. I break all that down for you. You got to have a game plan. You just can't be throwing darts and expecting for something to stick. You have to have a plan. In this ebook, I break down that plan, and also I break down how you can build that tribe, that community, and build that trust. And that trust then leads to the path of monetization. Check out my very first ebook, Unleash Your Creative Genius. The link is in the description below. Gotta tap in. And as well, after that step, if you would like to chop it up with me more, we have consultation services available. My girlfriend Sid as well. She's providing amazing editing services. She will change the complete aesthetic of your vibe, of your content. So tap in with us, check us out, and let's grow and let's shine together. Now, let's get back to the episode. Let's get it. Speaking on relaxing for a second and viewing cities in 4K, which is a dope idea, because that's weird that you say that, because I've been doing that for like the past month. So it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Learned that. I love that, man. I love that. And you and Jada, seeing y'all go out to Tulum, right?
Yeah,
that was dope, man. So speak on the importance of experiencing different things and traveling and just having fun sometimes as well.
Wow, that's I appreciate that. Yes, really, when I experienced Tulum, that was one of the greatest experiences that I've ever experienced in my life.
That's dope.
And I honestly can say that from the heart, because I realized gratitude on a different level. You know what I mean? Like the Mexican culture, the way that the people are together, the way they're in unison, and they're just so grateful. You know what I mean? It made me think of like just how in America, just how we aren't grateful.
It's weird, man. It's weird.
We take everything for granted. You know what I mean? They're so helpful. They work as a team. You know, you go to a restaurant here, and don't get me wrong, it was in a tourist location though, but I got enough of the culture to experience it. Like, you know what I mean? We go to a restaurant here, you know, bartender, waitress, or host, they might have an attitude. They might be on their phone. They might. It's not that consistent thankfulness, that consistent gratitude though. So it helped me experience a culture on a different level. I definitely do want to travel the world, experience the different cultures, and really just, you know, see the world. You know what I mean? Because I feel like as humans, like that goes into the comfortable conversation. I feel like we're put here to do more than just go drive down the same streets, go to the same restaurants, be in the same location. You know what I mean? So when you start traveling, you start experiencing new connections. So when I touched down in Mexico, I felt like anything that had to do with Georgia, anything that had to do with high school, college, I feel like it was irrelevant. It never happened. Like I have no connection to it.
Yeah.
I was experiencing a new connection. I felt the sun from a different angle.
That's true.
I seen the trees at a different angle. I experienced the ocean waves, hearing them and feeling it at a different vibration. It was just a different level of gratitude. So I definitely do want to travel more. I'm definitely thankful that I did take that trip, and that's just my plan to, you know, generate passive income, reach the masses, and really travel the world, man. Experiences those different cultures. And just,
Appreciate, man. Justin, like everything that you're saying is like so needed and so important, because about traveling and about passive income and value, impact. You said something in that statement that was like super dope about sometimes, man, as humans, we'll drive the same streets. We'll go to the same restaurants. We go to the same job every day, same commute, same thing, like robots every single day.
Yeah.
But earlier, on top of that, you spoke about how Jada said something very profound about create something for yourself. You don't want to continue to provide your resources and your ideas to somebody else's bigger idea, right? So for all the young people out there who might be afraid to take a chance on themselves and to build their own thing, what words do you have to say to that?
my thing is like, I would discover your passion. Like, what is your passion? Like, what do you love to do? Because whatever you absolutely love to do is something that you should be doing. And if you actually invest into that, you can turn it into a business, and you can provide value to other people who may want to do that same thing.
That's right.
So it's kind of like you said, something that you do, like from when you were younger. You said that you've always did broadcasting. Elementary school, middle school, high school, college broadcast, and now this led to your podcast. And it's similar to something that I've always done, like as far as with fitness. Like I've always played sports, this is the sports me that's coming out. And I actually quit sports in high school because coaches, situations, injuries, you know how that goes. So now I'm able to expose my fitness or my athlete background on a different platform. And honestly, like public speaking is another one of my passions that anytime I ever got up and spoke in front of class, I was always nervous. They said, Justin, you did good. And I was like, man, I was shaking the whole time. And I realized through, me investing in myself, that was another passion of mine. You know what I mean? And I just recently got into real estate. Ever since I was a kid, I always watched Flip or Flop. I always watched HGTV Fixing and Flipping Homes. So now that I have a connection with that, now it's like it's a reason behind me doing it. So I would say that whatever that you used to do, like when you was a kid, whatever that you used to like to do, like your passion, whatever you're interested in, like that's something that you should be doing. You should look more into doing it, because now with technology and the resources that we have, that information you can find through hashtags on Instagram. You can find it on Pinterest. You can find it on YouTube. You can find it through an article. You can go in the bookstore and buy a book on it. And these are things, all these things, most of these things that I just listed are free.
Yeah, that's
And the only thing that you may have to pay for it is the book. And if you're really willing to invest in yourself more, then you may buy a course or something like that.
Yeah.
But you can start investing into yourself, investing into your passion and your dream at a cheaper rate than that you think that you can. So I just think it's very important to discover that passion, invest into it. Start disconnecting from the old you, the old bad habits, the old bad memories, the old things, and start reconnecting. And my bad.
No, you good.
And start reconnecting with the new you, and that's how you do that. So you just got to disconnect to reconnect. So
disconnect to reconnect. That's dope, man. That's good, Justin. And speaking still on that point about going back to sports, right? About you playing baseball. I remember that being at Sandy Creek and doing your thing, bro. Like, what did the sports background have a major effect on when it comes to life, when it comes to grinding, when it comes to pushing through, and even dealing with coaches, man? Everybody know about Sandy Creek when it comes to coaching. It's political everything, man. So how did that impact Justin today when it comes to fighting adversity, when it comes to fighting against situations that you may know that somebody might be not wanting to see you at your best and still fighting through that? So what effect does that have on you?
Now that you really bring that topic up, man, I think that really does have a great effect of like on who I am today and like why I do the things that I do today. Is because like the old me, sports wise, like I always gave up. I always quit. Like you know what I mean. And I hate to admit, but sometimes you have to be honest with yourself. Like I was a quitter. Like I would be nervous to do drills in front of other people because they're looking at me like. Run. They look at my hips. They looking at my feet. Like, oh, do you run funny? Do you do this? Do you do that? And the coaches, they wanted me to do things that I didn't want to do. I started facing injuries. I just quit. And I'm like, I always was just, and I was, a great athlete. But I always got so consumed into what other people thought of me. So that led to me like quitting. So now I have the mentality of when I was younger, I quit. I gave in. So now that I'm older, I'm not quitting. I'm not giving in. I'm not stopping. And I'm going to outwork you. You know what I mean? And that's just how I think of it. It's like, I know right now that somebody's doing this right now and they're quitting. And I'm not going to quit just because I've been accustomed to quitting in the past. So I really use those past experiences to my advantage. And anytime that I am working out or anytime that I'm reading or anything, it's like I work with with a passion, like with a very fierce because as I start working out or I start doing my thing, I start thinking about those. So it makes me like push even harder. You know what I mean? And then when I'm in the gym and I'm working out, people looking at me and I see that people are looking at me and it kind of like, I'm like, dang, somebody looking at me. And it's like, they want to look, I'm going to keep working even harder and I'm going to outwork you even harder. And you're going to watch me outwork you. So I just use those past experiences like with sports of just giving in to my advantage right now. And I just think that's very key that, when you're going after your dreams, you're going after your goal, your passions, everything that you love, like you have to realize you're creating something new. So for you to create something new, you have to do something new. So I know when you're doing something new, that means that you're leaving what you used to do. And that means if you're leaving something that you used to do, more than likely you used to quit. More than likely you gave in. So you just have to push through, give in, and then you're just recreating stuff, recreating. So I think you should use those past experiences to your advantage. It happened for a reason. You know what I mean? You can't go back and change it, but now that you learn from it, use it to your advantage.
Ooh, that's good, man. Boy, Justin preaching, man. He's preaching. Justin, excuse me. Earlier, I think you might have posted it either yesterday or like a few days ago, but I saw what you was posting in the gym, flying up, chopping in the air. I'm like, yo, this man is killing it. He's like the special agent out here, man. For you to do something like that, right? Yeah. Average person would start thinking, especially in like today's age, about, hey, everybody, they'll be staring at me or they'll be looking at me, and I don't want to get attention, right? Yeah. How do you break out of that shell, right, of experimenting in front of people? Like, that's a big deal that you're trying something and doing it in front of a group of people. So how do you step out of that shell somewhat and try things?
Man, I just look at it as a growth opportunity. You know what I mean? Like, no situation is ever going to be perfect. And that's what I'm learning in every area of life. Like, you know, I could not record myself on a tripod in front of the whole gym and everybody watching me record myself. And I could just come in here and just do what everybody else. But then at the same time, I'm not producing content. I'm not providing value to people who may need it. You know what I mean? Sir. And regardless of what you do, somebody is more than likely going to be watching. You know what I mean? Like, it's, for example, like the sports athletes, like their practices, people are watching. That's, you know what I mean? And then when they do their performance, it's on live TV. Everybody's watching everything you're doing. So I just use that and thinking like, you know, it is what it is. You know, I'm just going to push through and do it. And like those movements that you said, for example, though, it's a lot of practice, and I do strategic routines to do that. Just a lot of stretch and a lot of water. And like I tell anybody who see me do those type of movements that, you know, I practice those, and not only do I practice those, like I've been doing like similar workouts to those for a long time. So I start off with the basics, and it's not even basics, but I started off doing burpees. You know, I started off doing high knees. I started off doing mountain climbers, jumping jacks. I started off doing those consistently, like, you know, 3 sets of 15, 4 sets of 10, and just kept doing them. And then I'm like, okay, I can move my elbow with it. Okay, I can move this elbow with it. Okay, I can jump with it. So now it's like, okay, burpee, boom, 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 jump up. So it's just a mixture of things that I've composed after compounding those habits, routines after a while. And really with the whole fitness thing, like, I just really wanted to be different. You know what I mean? Yeah. I didn't really want to be like everybody else. Yeah. Post the same generic workouts. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? Yeah. People love bodybuilding. People love working out. Love people doing it. And I'm happy for them. And I support everybody who's doing what they're doing. But I just wanted to separate myself from my competition. Separate myself. And I just wanted to do something different. Something new. You know what I mean? Like, just give people that inspiration that, you know, they can do it too. I might not be able to do that, but I might be able to do that one. You know what I mean? And just providing value. You know, I just wanted to be the highest person of value that I could possibly be. You know what I mean? And it's not that I'm seeking, you know, personal trainer or anything like that. But, you know, I just look at people like, you know, Kevin Hart, who works out consistently. Who's not a personal trainer. I look at The Rock. I look at Gucci Man. You know, I look at, what's his name? French Montana. Rick Ross. I'm looking at these different people who, you know, really changed their body. You know what I mean? Because people may look at me now and say, dang, like, he's really in shape. He's able to do that. But I started off at 198, and then I got all the way down to 165. That's amazing. Now I'm able to do those things, though. So it's been a process to get here, though. You know what I mean? It definitely wasn't overnight, though. So I know that if I can get here right now with what I'm doing now, if I turn it up another notch, or if I change some more habits, there's no limit to where I can go. So
it's gonna be scary, man. It's gonna be scary. Justin, scary. Man, you are somebody who works on a consistent basis, somebody who is constantly producing content. So let's get into the content. Okay. That's one of my favorite things to talk about. You are a very creative person, and seeing how you're going about on your Instagram, YouTube, high quality pictures, crazy work. And then with the videos and motivational videos, what motivated you to share content? What motivated you to post the videos, to have photo shoots and do things that nobody else is really doing? And you even have themes with the photo shoots. It's crazy. So what happened? How did that whole process start? Talk to me.
Man, it really started with really just, you know, falling in love with delayed gratification and also manifesting. So I know that the future me is going to do photo shoots. So what I need to do right now is I need to take photo shoots once a month. You know, the future me wants to work out around the world. the future me wants a videographer, just like you. You know what I mean?
It, man.
So what do I need to do? I need to start filming myself. You know, the future me wants to be a public speaker and travel the world. So what I need to start doing, I need to start filming my motivational speeches. So I just started doing that, and that's how I got started. I started filming my workouts. I started getting photo shoots, taking pictures. I started recording my motivational videos. And after a while, I started seeing how my page was set up. I started seeing the way I was producing content. I said, ooh, let me edit that a little different. Ooh, let me change this a little bit more. Let me do that. And I'm always picking up nicks and strategies. And like what I learned too also is that, and you spoke on it earlier too, is that you have to take advice from people who are successful in that area of life that you're seeking to be successful. Right. Yeah. You can't take, business advice from somebody who's not a businessman. I can't take fitness advice from somebody who's not a fit. I can't take social media advice from somebody who is not a social media influencer. You know what I mean? Right. So it's cool to bounce ideas off people, but be very careful of who you take advice from. So the content really started, man. I just started researching. I started producing, and it wasn't the best. But if you go through my page or go through my content, you can see how I started progressing because I started figuring out a rhythm, started figuring out a technique. I started, getting my photo shoots done on a consistent basis, which is also delayed gratification because I'm not getting paid to post this content, which I'm paying for the pictures. You know what I mean? But a lot of people may look at it differently. Maybe, hey, maybe this and all that. But I took time to go get those outfits. I took time to pay that photographer. I took time to post that picture and to develop a caption.
Locations too. You be going to different locations.
Locations too. Gas. Yeah, it's gas to go there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's really, I just really look at it, I haven't got no significant return from it. And it's not that I'm doing it for the money, but I'm doing it because I know the future me is going to be thankful that I just got started with it. And I just use my content as like, this is what I want to do in my future. So it's like, I do it for an emotional reason. I do it for a passion. I do it because I love it. Like, there's not one post on my page that you can go right in there and say that, hey, I'm doing this for this. I'm doing this for this. I'm doing it because I actually love doing it. Like, I love working out. I love, because the reason why I love working out too is because I love that I'm creating my body. You know what I mean? I'm creating who I want to be.
Right.
And I love my motivational speeches is because I'm providing value through my words, through my messages. And I love that I can impact people through my words. And I love taking pictures because when I was younger, I hated taking pictures.
Yeah, I feel that.
And we spoke on things that I used to hate, things that I was scared of, things that I quit on, things that I gave up on. So everything that I'm doing now is things that I used to be scared of when I was younger. So now every single thing, and I'm facing my fears. I'm facing my fears through taking pictures. I'm facing my fears through motivational videos. I'm facing my fears through working out. I'm facing my fears in every area because I have an emotional reason, emotional connection behind why I'm doing it. And that's just the reason why, I'm doing it is because that's the future me. That's what I want to do. So I'm creating content based on that. You know what I mean? It's just documented, man. I can go back through and look, oh, I did this. Okay. I can switch it up and do it like this time, and it becomes fun. You know what I mean? And really facing those fears, like, dang, people may unfollow me because I'm doing this. People may follow me because, man, I'm just investing in myself. You know what I mean? Like, to my fullest extent that I possibly can. So
that's right, Justin. And let me tell you this now. It might be delayed, but it's coming, bro. I already told you this, brand ambassador on the way, influencer, sponsorships. Like, you already have the brand, you already have the visuals for it, the aesthetic. So please keep grinding on that. Please keep doing that, man. And Justin, again, like what you're doing with the content is different, like the motivational talks, all that. How do you figure out like which topics that, you want to talk about? Because I think that every video that you post, like you don't miss, like it's right on time, it's needed, and it's like a lot of value in that message. So how do you conceptualize these ideas about what you want to talk about, things like that?
I really look at it as far as it's like what I invest into myself. Like, I invest so much into myself, and like through listening, through reading, through writing. The only thing I really need is I just need like a sentence, or I just need a phrase. And that sentence or phrase is my topic. And from that topic, I can speak on that topic. Yeah. So that's where I really get the messages from, is I'm listening to something, I'm reading something, I'm writing something, I'm thinking of something. I just think of that one topic, and then from there, I just run with it. So I've been focusing more on just doing it like, what's the word I would say is like off the cuff, off the rip, like straight from the head, like no script, no nothing. This is the topic that I think of, I'm going to speak on it right now. So that's how I really get my messages, and that's how I really get my content. It's just something that, comes to me naturally. You know what I mean? And I do have long-term goals. I do have strategies and different things that I'm working towards. But as far as like motivational content, it's from just coming straight off the cuff, straight off the top of my head. So I'm just, that's what I really just work on, man. I try to be more original, be more generic with it, and just keep it going.
That's good stuff, man. That's good stuff. Earlier too, man, before we even started filming, you were talking about how a lot of people don't know what goes on behind the scenes. About sometimes you might have to start over on a video. It might not be exported properly. Somebody will walk in front of the camera. So can you please speak on for the young content creators out there about what really goes on behind the scenes? Because I think when people scroll on your page, we all see this finished product. And how earlier how you said that we see Kevin Hart in year 20, not knowing that he started like back in the 90s, bro, and it's 2021. So it took a process. So for all the people out there, like, can you please break down what goes on behind the scenes when it comes to creating content?
Man, that's a great question that a lot of people really don't have an idea. But yeah, like, it's just kind of like anything that you may see, like, you know, in a movie. That's the highlight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When people see Instagram or they see any type of content, those are the highlights. Nobody really sees the editing that goes in behind it. You know, they never see like you like going to the gas station, a pump not working, so you got to go to another pump. Jeez. That pump not working, you got to go to a whole nother gas station. Car break down at the gas station. You finally get somewhere 3 years later. You thought you could record today. You can't record today. You got to record tomorrow. Man. Camera die, battery die, phone die. You know, people walking in front of it. You know, you editing, the computer breakdown, you running out of storage, you got to delete storage, buy storage. It's a lot of stuff that really goes into producing content. So I think you just have to get accustomed with failure and just never give up. Like, for example, like the workout video that I posted yesterday when I was editing it, and I exported it from iMovie to my desktop. Like, I thought it was fine, and I was about to upload on Instagram, and it was frozen. It wasn't working. Man. So I had to go back, re-edit it, and then bring it back to my phone so I can post it on social media. But nobody would see that. They would just see me working out.
That's
you know
right.
what I mean? So it's a lot that go into it. I say you just have to get accustomed with failure and just know that you're doing it for the right reason. You're doing it for the right purpose, and just have the emotional reason. Why are you doing it? Is there a reason behind you doing it? Okay, you're doing it. Okay, love that you're doing it. And just get accustomed to failure because it's going to happen. Like, that camera is going to mess up.
That's
you know
true.
what I mean? Like, that camera is going to die. That battery is going to die. You know what I mean? That laptop may crash on you. You may have to buy the laptop on your credit card. You might have to buy the equipment on your credit card. Like, these different things that I know I didn't been through. I can't speak on nobody else, but you know, you really just have to invest into it, knowing that you're doing it for the right reason. So they just have to get accustomed to it, bro. Like, it's a scary world when you start going after your dreams, your goals, and you start going into those them areas of the unknown. But if you're doing it for the right reason, the universe is gonna work in your favor. Like, you just have to stay positive and believe that the universe is gonna work in your favor.
This is good, man. Accustomed with failure. I like that because that's the biggest thing that I'm learning right now too, Justin. It's just embracing trying things and embracing things not working, right? So how do we accept failure? How do we learn from failure into, like what you said, accustomed and embrace it? Because I think that, again, man, our age group, our society, we're exposed to everything being a finished product and not seeing the process or not even liking the process because we're just trying to get to the bag quick. So how do we do a better job of embracing failure?
Man, the best way for you to embrace failure is to like just go after it. You know, just go after it, knowing that it's like, for example, like somebody who's playing professional baseball, like your batting percentage of somebody who, you know, if you're in baseball, your batting percentage is 300, and 300 is a great batting percentage in basketball. But you got to realize that you failed 70% of the time. Like, so out of 10 swings, you did not get on base 7 times. You only got on base 3 times, and that's a winning percentage. So you just have to look at that. It's like the more times that you fail, the more likely that you're going to succeed because you're just failing so many times. Most people fail 1 time, 2 times, and they give up. But if you fail 10 times, you might succeed that 1 time. And that 1 time could be better than all those 9 times that you fail. It's kind of like if you're looking at it from a real estate perspective, if you're going to, you know, purchase a home, you know, 95% of people don't want to sell their home. 5% of people do want to sell their home. So if you think about that ratio, just as far as failing in life, like the more that you fail, the higher that you're going to succeed. That's when anybody who we look up to, they failed a lot of times. Like even like we talk about with the workouts, like I failed so many times to my workout to be able to do what I'm doing now. And it's like you with your podcast, your team, like y'all probably have failed so many times, not in a negative way, but it led to the success that it is right now. So imagine the growth that where it can go. So you just have to embrace failure, knowing that the more times that you're going to fail, the more times that you're going to succeed. And I also was learning and researching that, like, through, you know, months and years, more and more people are going to give up. So the more and more people they give up along the journey, it's going to make more and more room for you. So if you never give up, your chances of succeeding and touching those areas of the unknown are getting higher and higher. You feeling? Keep going. You're getting it. Your chances to succeed is getting higher, higher, and higher. Because more people are giving up. They're giving in. They're giving in. So you just have to embrace the failure, man. Just knowing that the more times that I fail is gonna give me a higher chance to succeed. Because most people already gave in. They want it right now. It's not right now. You know what I'm saying? You can go buy a stock right now, but you're not gonna get the dividend tomorrow. You're gonna get the dividend in 3 months because you bought the stock today. Yeah. So I think that you just have to get accustomed to that delayed gratification, knowing that it is going to come. I'm doing it for the right reason. It's going to come, and just embrace that failure and embrace the process, man. Because we can't, like what we're doing right now, we can't go back. You know what I mean? We can't go back. Once we get to that certain limit, you know, we just start outsourcing things, but it's not that daily grind, that daily failure, that daily hustle that it is now. So you have to embrace the process and embrace the failure.
That's good, man. That's good. Real estate too, bro. You spoke about getting into that. That's dope. Being young, being in real estate. That's amazing, man, because that's an amazing stream of generational wealth, passive income, ownership. What got you into that? And then 2, what are you learning from real estate and from that whole business side as well?
I love it. Man, really, well, the real estate really started from me. Honestly, it's like when I was younger, I used to just admire real estate so much. Like I always wanted to be a part of it. When I was younger, I remember my dad used to be a real estate agent.
Nice.
And I just thought you always needed so much money. You always needed so many different things in a perfect credit score to get into it. And realistically, you really don't. You really don't. You know, you can be an investor. You could be a wholesaler. Yeah. You can also be an agent. It's just so many different avenues of real estate. And I just think it's perfect because you can buy a property for cheap, hold it, in 2 or 3 years, you can sell it for 3 times the price.
That's big facts.
And you can even get an apartment complex. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but you can get an apartment complex. You can get a house under contract, and you could put that. And that could be a passive income for your kid. That could be a passive income for your parents. It could be a passive income for a loved one. Man. And you just hold that for 2-3 years, and then you can sell it. Or you can keep it. Or you can live it in yourself and rent out the other units, and you be living for free with profit coming in. So I think real estate is something that everybody needs to get into, because no matter who you are or what you do for a living, you're going to be living somewhere.
That's true.
You're either buying or renting from somewhere. So if you're already into that industry, you need to figure out how you can get into it so you can afford to live where you want to live for cheap or for free. So I think that's the key to real estate, is everybody needs to be getting into some part of real estate.
That's good, man. That's good, because I know, especially now for people in our age group, if you're in your 20s, they'll probably think, yo, I'm way too young to be in real estate or to be like a real estate mogul, right?
No, you're not.
How do you break out of that mindset of being too young and just starting?
Man, you're never too young. I feel like once you hit the age of 18, you're ready to get started in real estate. And even if you aren't 18 yet, you can still do the background work prior to you becoming 18. So if you're like 14, 16 years old, you can still read the books. You can still watch the videos. You can still take some type of action to it. And then once you start taking some type of action to it, you're going to know so much about it. You're going to know somebody who's not 18 years old that you can give the money, give the knowledge, or give the investment to, that you can trust, that can bring you that return. And you can just keep that going until you become 18, 20 years old, until you can get into it yourself. So it's really no excuses into it. And I know that's just me saying that right now from my perspective, because I've been on the other side. So I know how it is, like being on the other side of the spectrum or the other side of the hemisphere, knowing that like I can't get into it, that's hard, that's impossible. No, it's not. It's very possible. It's possible for anybody to do anything they want to do. You just have to believe in it and take action. And once you start taking action, you won't believe the opportunities that will manifest before your eyes. You just have to believe in it.
That's good, man. So far, man, throughout this real estate journey, what has been the dopest experience thus far from just being in it, man?
Man, I'm still in the early stages of it, man. I still wouldn't say that, I'm in the beginning stages of it. But what I like about it is it's helping me reprogram my mind.
That's good.
Because I have to make cold calls, and it's basically teaching me failure.
I know that's hard.
It's very tough. It's kind of like, you're a kid again, and it's like your parents consistently telling you no. You know what I mean? It's like what we're doing right now, we've built those habits, and it's become second nature. You know that you have to do an IG live. Like I can get on here, I can knock it out. You know what I'm saying? I know I have to go to the gym. I know I have to do this. You know what I'm saying? So we know the things that we have to do. But what this is teaching me now is teaching me failure. Because now the rate to succeed, it's just not me going in my car, going to the gym, go work out. Now I'm getting on the phone with somebody who's in a bad mood, had a bad day at work, and they're taking their frustration out on somebody who just really trying to see if they're trying to sell their home. You know what I mean? So the rate is 95% of people don't want to sell their home, 5% of people want to sell their home. So out of 100 phone calls, you know what I'm saying, you may have one person who may be willing to sell their home. So it's teaching me failure at a higher rate, and it's really helping me a lot. Like, it's helping me even doing this podcast right now because I'm accustomed to failing. You know what I mean? So it's making me fail again. And I'm very thankful for it. I'm embracing it more and more. So it's helping me grow. It's helping me grow a lot, get accustomed to failure again. So
that's good, man. On that point too, bro, I remember The Little Giants, one of my favorite movies, man, 90s movie. And it was the coach, he was telling them, even if you lose 99 times, as long as you get that one win, that's all what matters. And it's like cold calls, that's actually cool because, again, like what you said, that's a great experience about calling somebody who you don't know, as a stranger. They could be in a bad mood, might not feel like talking. How do you get yourself in that mental space of knowing, all right, potentially I could be in a hostile situation and talking to somebody who's not even trying to talk to me. Yeah. But at the same time, I can learn from this. And then two, I could actually pull something off. So how do you even get your mind right for all those things at one time?
Man, that's it's a lot harder than what it really seems, man. I just do my best is to dial the number, make the call. And what happens. Like, I know I've done my research to be prepared for the deal to go the right way. Yeah. And if it doesn't go the right way, I just have to dial another number, man. But it definitely is facing it at a whole different level. And like, that's another reason why like I've like turned the notifications off on my phone, like we spoke earlier. And I listen to like a lot of focus music, like on Apple Music, you download the focus playlist, like the meditation playlist. And I listen to those soft melodies in my head. I listen to those soft melodies in between the phone call. So it's not saying like I'm just in a dead space, dead silence, and negativity come at me. It's like, make the phone call, it may be negative, okay, cool. I got them soft melodies in the background. Make another phone call, it may be bad, got them soft melodies in the background. So it's just like, I've just developed a routine of being consistent with it and just knowing that, you know, it may be failure, but, you know, I just know it's a part of that ratio, you know what I mean? It's just reteaching me, man. It's reteaching me a lot, so just have to get accustomed to it, bro.
I like that, man. I like that. Justin, last time that we spoke on IG Live, you said something that I've actually implemented and tried. Like, anytime that you have a negative thought, think of 3 positive things, right? Yeah. When it comes to the mind, how should we feed our minds and keep thinking positive? And I know, of course, you know, as human beings, we go through things, ebbs and flows, things happen. But how do you stay positive, like, consistently inside the mind?
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, you know. Yeah. It's not easy controlling your mind, but you have to, because your mind is your greatest asset. It controls everything. It controls the way that you talk, the way that you move, the way that you act, and it's your thoughts, you know what I mean? And that's where it really starts at. So if you don't take control of your mind will take control of you. So I just do the best to tap into my mind at every chance that I can. And basically, with, like you said, the ratio to 1 to 3 is that you're basically attracting more good to your life than bad. Because that one bad thought could lead to, you know, bad energy. You know, the bad energy can lead into negative time. So that with that one bad thought can lead to a negative space that you in for 5-10 minutes. It could be a month, could be 2 months, 3 months, or 6 months, or it could be even a year just from one bad thought. So as soon as that thought comes into my mind, I like, you know, I snap out of it. Snap out of it. Okay, let me focus on X, Y, Z. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for that. And I just try to outweigh, you know, the good, you know, away from the bad, because, man, that negativity will sink into you ASAP. You know what I mean? So I just try my best to find something that I'm grateful for in that moment. It doesn't change my state immediately, but it calms my state. And once it calms my state, I'm able to refocus on something else. So, like, I try my best, like, lately, like, I've been working on the past month or so, is controlling more of my subconscious mind and more of my internal mind. So in my free time, I try my best to not let my mind drift too much. If I'm not, and if we're having a daily conversation, I'm going to bring up the future. Like, I'm going to talk about the future, and some people like it, some people don't like it, you know what I mean? But I want to keep thinking about the future, keep speaking on it. And then I also, like I said earlier, like, I listen to a lot of, like, different types of music, melodies, and I'm always listening to a podcast. I'm always trying to find something, okay, I'm doing something, what's something I can learn right now? And I always try to find something to feed my brain to get away from that negativity, those past events, those past people, those past experiences. Because if I keep reliving that, I'm living my current life in the past, and I try to disconnect from that. So you got to just channel it.
Man, I feel that. And speaking on the future, Justin, you're somebody who's super ambitious, and I know for people on their grind, we get so locked in on the goals in the future, but you've accomplished a lot. So how do you stay grounded to be grateful for where you're currently at while also looking forward to it at the same time? Which is hard.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
It is very hard, but I look at it as every day is a new opportunity. Every day is a new opportunity. So I have a gratitude journal, and I write in my gratitude journal every single day. And when I write in my gratitude journal, I not only speak on, my family, I'm not speaking on my friends, I don't speak on people who are very important to me. I also speak on, fresh air, fresh breath, fresh lungs, what I'm saying? Coronavirus, no congestion, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I speak on those things, and I also have my goals that I write every single day. And I also, in my phone, I have an alarm system as far as a notepad that I have in my notes, alarm system. And I keep daily track of my progress. If I'm counting my macronutrients, if I took any action towards real estate, if I took any action towards reading, if I listened to any podcast today, did I work out today? I just keep daily track. And like you said, like those are different things that I'm accustomed to that help me be grateful for the moment. So I try my best to find everything. Like anytime I pick up the phone and I speak to my mom, I speak to my dad, I speak to my sister, I'm like, wow, like, I'm really thankful I'm able to send that text. I'm really thankful I'm able to make that phone call. You know what I mean? So I'm starting to cherish every single moment that I'm experiencing with my family, with my loved ones, every single thing. I'm cherishing that moment even more and more while I'm still focused on my long-term goals for not only this year, for the next 5 years. So it's just that connection. And that's really what keeps me moving. You know what I mean? As far as is that I have a long-term goal that I'm working towards. So that keeps me taking action right now. But because if I was comfortable with where I'm at right now, then I wouldn't be working out no more. I wouldn't be producing no content. I wouldn't be doing anything. So it's that long-term goal that pulls me to the future. And it's also the gratitude that I'm thankful for every single day, man. Because somebody didn't wake up today. Somebody can't send that text, make that phone call. Somebody don't got a car to get into, to drive to. Some people don't have a bank account or money in the bank account. But then also it's some people that have what we have and they outworking us. And it's not that we competing against them, but at the same time we competing against ourselves. But we just have to know in our head, somebody doing something right now, I need to do something. But I also need to be grateful, but also making sure I'm making progress every single day towards the future.
That's good, man. And earlier you were talking about the diet. That's very inspirational, man. Seeing you on this health journey, taking care of your body, mind, spirit, soul, all that stuff. Dieting, that's hard too, because again, man, we are living in crazy times. Like everything's GMO, fast food, all these crazy things, man. So how do you stay on it with the diet, and for people who are trying to eat better and at the same time not to go all the way into it just going crazy, but how do we gradually change how we eat?
Man, I love that you asked me that too. Man, nutrition plays a key in everything, man. And then one of the main reasons why I really love eating healthy is because it gives me more energy. It really does give you more energy. So, I've done my research, I've done different diets and different plans, and I found something that's consistent, but I think something that everybody can get started on is intermittent fasting. And it's not as bad as it seems. Some people go crazy, like some people don't eat for like 18 hours, 20 hours type deal. But the basics that I know of it is that if you don't eat 2 hours after you wake up, 2 hours before you go to sleep, your body uses two things for energy. Your body uses either the foods you eat as energy, or it uses your body fat as energy. So if you don't eat in the morning, like 2 hours before you wake up, if you wake up right before work, then you need to wake up earlier. You know what I mean? But you're basically in the morning, your body will use your body fat as energy. So it's going to eat away at that body fat for energy. And before you go to sleep, it's going to eat away at that body fat for energy. Because if you eat right before you go to sleep, you didn't give that food time to digest. So basically, those calories and everything that food consumes turns into body fat because it has nowhere else to go. So if you don't give it time to digest, then, it turns into body fat. And something else is that another thing with the nutrition is that, pretty much stay with, your whole fresh foods and your whole fresh vegetables. If you turn around, you look at the back of the label, and more than likely it has more than 7 ingredients on it, and that means that it's processed.
Yeah, that's true.
And then also something that I recently just got into, probably about 2 weeks ago, is like my serving sizes. So like, if you turn around and look at it, you may see that it may have X amount of calories, carbs, protein, this and all that. But you don't also realize that it may be like 6 servings in here. So when you eat like not chips, like say for like candy or something like that, you thinking, oh, this just has this, I'm straight. But you didn't read the label that say it had 4.5 servings, 6 grams serving. So you just didn't consume 60, 80 grams of sugar. So it's going to take you probably like 2 or 3 days going hard at the gym to burn all of that out, depending on how your body burns fat. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's a lot of different techniques and things that you can use. Another trick that I also do that I love doing is like before I eat, I drink a full bottle of water before I said eat. But yeah, before I eat, I drink a full bottle of water before I eat. Wow. Because basically when you drink a full bottle of water before you eat, it's going to trick your brain to make you think that you're fuller than you are. Because us as humans, you know, guys, females, etc., we're human, so we love food and we love to eat. You feel me? So it's so easy just to dive into food, go. But you don't realize that when you overeat, you expand your stomach. So when you drink a full bottle of water, basically what it's do is going to trick your brain into you thinking that you're fuller than you are. So instead of eating that full plate, you're going to eat half a plate. Mm-hmm. And realistically, all you need is that half a plate to survive. So you just need, I think those tricks can help anybody. 2 hours before you wake up, 2 hours after you go to sleep, drink a full bottle of water before you eat your food. On the label, watch the serving sizes. Mm-hmm. If it's more than 7 ingredients, then it's probably processed. Yeah. So those type of tips and tricks, I feel like, and if you watch some serving sizes, I feel like anybody should be good, though. You should be good.
I like that. Justin, you spoke about writing down the goals or things that you need to get done. What's the importance of us writing things down, visualizing it, and then executing?
I think that plays a huge role because the brain loves things that it's familiar with. Mm. So if you write down your goals, if you speak on your goals, if you visualize your goals, if you meditate, if you think, you believe, your brain is going to become familiar with that connection. Yeah. So I think that's very key that you do write your goals down, you do speak them out loud, and you do it on a consistent basis because you're creating a familiar. I can't even say the word. You're creating that new connection with your brain, your brain needs. Like you're becoming more and more familiar with it. So now what you're doing is you're attracting those goals to you every single day. You're attracting. And before you know it, your goals manifest before your eyes just because you became familiar with it.
That's good, man. Justin, I cannot tell you thank you enough, bro. You have killed this interview, man. But before we go, can you please tell us where do you see Justin within the next 5 to 10 years? The brand, the businessman, everything. Like, where do you see yourself within the next 5 to 10 years? And also, where can everybody follow you, keep up with you on YouTube, IG, everything?
Also, over the next 5 years, you can pretty much see me speaking on stage. I definitely want to speak on stage. I want to kill it. You can see me traveling the world. You can see me working out around the world. Yes, I'll definitely have a team with me. Definitely a videographer, definitely a photographer, and definitely just living my best life and providing as much value as I can. And you can follow me on all social media platforms as far as Instagram at I Am Spread the Word. You can follow me on Twitter at Spread the Word _. You can follow me on YouTube at I Am Spread the Word. And those were the social medias where you can follow me. And I just want to provide as much value as I can to the masses and just help people. That's the goal, is to help people. The only way I can help people is by me investing in myself every single day.
That's right. Thank y'all again for tapping in, always showing love, always supporting. Make sure to follow our guy Justin ASAP. Thank you to June. Thank you to Sid. This would not be possible without them just always killing it for us. So we cannot thank y'all enough. Make sure to follow us. Just share out the content and just keep being you. Just keep knowing that your time is coming and that your dreams that they will come true. So thank y'all again. Once again, my name is Caleb Smith. Shout out to Justin. Follow him. I'm serious. You will not be disappointed. Much love. Thank y'all. Your dreams that will come true. Peace. 3 Milli Pod fam, you are a real one. You made it to the end of this episode. We cannot thank you enough for all the love and support. Before we bounce, as you guys see, you can click the subscribe button, the watch more videos button, tap in, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Comment below, tell us your favorite part of this video and why, and also let us know who else you would like for us to chop it up with. Make sure to buy my very first ebook, Unleash Your Creative Genius. Make sure to hit up my girlfriend Sid as well for her editing services. You can hit me up for consultation consultations for your content strategy and content plans. And special thank you to our guests for always dropping gems. We're only getting started. It's just the beginning. Again, make sure to subscribe to our channel, share the vibe, share out our content. And again, thank you for always tapping in and for always supporting. We are always here. Let's talk in the comment section. Let's just chop it up. Much love. Keep grinding, keep shining, because you are important and you are special. We love you, 3 Milli Pod fam. And it's just the beginning. Blessed be your host, Caleb Smith. And we out of here. Peace.